Hello everybody, Artifact Moralltach here, and now I'm back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I have quite an interesting announcement for you guys. We got some more Gravekeeper support. I actually haven't read it yet. I just saw the announcement from House of Champs channel, some new support came out, so I figure I review live. Well, not technically quote-unquote live coverage, but it's basically live because I hadn't seen it yet. So this is going to be quite interesting. And you know, it's going to be quite an interesting phenomenon to see what they've actually produced for Gravekeepers this time. Because if you guys know DP Yu-Gi-Oh, check out my boy DP Yu-Gi-Oh, because he actually makes really good coverage on new cards coming out and provides really good. Let me load on the buttons for myself a little bit. Sorry. Really good analysis on new cards that are coming from out in the OCG and soon TCG. And I can tell you for myself, that fucking Gravekeeper Fusion monster was crap. Like, I'm not sure Konami realizes the way Gravekeepers play right now, but it's literally a card-demised deck. And the last time that deck top 64'd anything was a fucking regional back in mid-zoo format. Like back in March or April or some shit like that of 2017. That was the last top Gravekeepers actually ever got. Take that with a grain of salt. So now I'm hoping to see this new support actually mean something. A chair. Wow, that reminds us of something, right? It's our service opportunity. Throne of the Necro Valley. Normal spell card. You can only... Okay, this can be searched out with the new Necro Valley Fusion. You can only the new GK Fusion. You can only activate a card with this card in once per turn. So you can only use one Throne of the Necro Valley per turn. Pretty fair. Let's see. Had one Gravekeeper monster from deck to your hand. Wow. Wow. You actually have a Gravekeeper Searcher now. Outside of the Witch of the Black Forest and the Man-Eater Bug of the deck. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one GK monster from your hand. Oh wow, so you get an extra normal summon. Cool. This is actually legit Gravekeeper support. It actually makes them way more consistent. Because now you can... Wait a minute. Do you have to normal summon it? Oh god. I can see the flaws in this already. Like, where if you were to want to normal... Like, I can actually legit see the flaws in this card already. It seems good on paper, but it actually might be trash in terms of actual play. You would search Commandant, right? It says if you have to normal summon, then this might be a problem. If you have the option where you want to normal summon or not, then that would be cool. I'd be cool with that. But if you have to normal summon the monster, you can't even search Spy and go set. Whatever Gravekeeper monster you search, you have to summon. Which means unless Konami's intending on making this a special summon spammy deck, which I highly doubt because GKs are slow as fuck, and they have to give the deck a whole revolutionary wave of support for this deck in order to be able to keep up with the speed of something like Dangers, Sky Strikers, or Gokis. These are Pendulum Magicians. Like, even Draco is faster than this shit. And this deck is just fucking slow. So you would search Commandant, right? And you will have to normal summon Commandant. That would suck because you are intending to use Commandant in order to search out Necro Valley. That's what you play Commandant for. You don't play Commandant to give yourself a free normal summon. Anyway, let me read the rest of the support and see if there are any monsters here that are worth searching with this trash. I see a temple. I see Sanctuary of Necro Valley. A continuous type card. This shit better be a floodgate. If there's a GK monster or Necro Valley in the field, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. 2. During the player's main phase, if you do not control your card in your few card zone, you can activate one Necro Valley from your hand or graveyard. Interesting. So if your opponent pops a Necro Valley, this card literally legit brings it back. That's legit. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can set one Necro Valley spell or trap from your deck, except Necro. Wait a minute, this card can set itself? Oh no. Oh no, this is gonna be a problem. This card is actually legit, bro. Actually legit good. Let's see what you do. Gravekeeper's Priest. Level 3 Dark Spellcaster Effect Monster. 500 attack, 1500 defense. Not promising stats. What's the level? 3? Okay, let's see what you do. You can only use this effect of the card's name once per turn. If the card is summoned, you can target one level 4 GK monster in your graveyard, special summon in face up attack position or face down defense position. This effect cannot be negated in Necro Valley. Durr. Decent? Unless if GKs are getting a Link monster that's literally spiraled the double helix 2.0, unless they're getting a Link monster that can do the same thing that double helix does for spirals, I don't see this being very impactful. Let's see what else. Gravekeeper Spiritualist, level 4 Dark Spellcaster Effect Monster, 1500 attack, 1500 defense. What you do? You can only use this card named once per turn. If Necro Valley is on the field, you can fusion summon one Spellcaster Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, including this card in the field. So this card is basically. It asks what this card is basically to the Gravekeeper Fusion. I forgot his name. What Astrograph and Chronograph are the Zark. Tell me, guys, has Zark seen competitive play? Nah. And then we're getting a new World Legacy monster. Well, I'll read this later. So you can use this card as well. Cool. I believe the new Gravekeeper Fusion requires just any 2 Gravekeeper monsters or something like that. Very generic. Basically, the best thing out of everything is this trap card right here, because this trap card is legit going to be a very annoying floodgate for you to deal with, because it's not going to be one of those things that you pop and goes away. It can literally set itself from the deck, which is actually going to be very annoying. 500 attacking defense losing thing is very underwhelming. It's very unnecessary for the strat of this deck. The fact that you can recur a Necro Valley from your hand or graveyard is not overwhelming, but it's not underwhelming either. It's pretty standard as to what this deck needed, a way to legit protect Necro Valley, because this deck didn't have it before. This card right here, until we get a Link monster for this deck, I mean, I can see where they're going with Gravekeeper's Priest over here. They're trying to give the deck a startup play. I mean, it's true, this guy summons another Gravekeeper monster, so now you have 2 monsters on the field. What are you going to do with those 2 monsters? Make double helix? Oh, I can make that. Well, you're going to have to give this deck a really overpowered Link 2 Gravekeeper Dark Spellcaster type monster, because if you don't, this card right here, Throne of the Necro Valley, is going to be very underwhelming, because searching out Commandant doesn't do anything, because you have to normal summon one Gravekeeper monster. And if you've already used card demise, chances are that Commandant's going to be the only card in your hand, man. Which means you're going to have to normal summon a dead 1600, soon to become 2100 attack vanilla that don't do shit. That's Earth Spellcaster. So the new support, if I had to rate it on the scale 1 to 10, considering all the different things that we've gotten, I'm going to include the fusion monster in my analysis. 7 out of 10. The deck definitely gets more consistent with the Throne of Necro Valley. It gets much more recursive of the Sanctuary. The monsters are kind of unnecessary. They kind of interfere with the standardization of the strat this deck possesses. It's not meant to spit out extra deck monsters unless if we get overpowered support on the level of Goki for this deck. or a Link monster could do something like that, but I digress. World Legacy World Scepter. So, World Child Support. It only uses effects 2 and 3 once returned. This card is almost in the set. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and monsters sent to the extra deck. Huh. This card sent to the grave. You can special from one World Legacy monster from your hand. Oh, wow. This card's going to be annoying for the combos. Oh, yeah, this is that new archetype shit. I'm just gonna glance through all this until I find something I'm even interested in. I'm not interested in any of this. I'm really not. I'll probably be coming back to some of this stuff later on. Because I can see this stuff being important. Oh, Devi Ritual. You only use effect one. I think one effect a month. Oh, so you can only use one effect. You can feel one ritual monster in your hand. So certain stuff in your hand. One Devi Ritual monster from deck except himself. Makes sense. This card's from the deck. You use one ritual monster in your hand. It's not special summon monster in your extra deck. The new Devi Rituals are actually going to be legit. Because they literally give yourself 3 levels on the board, which help decks like Vendreads actually come back. Heralds wouldn't need these types of cards, but Vendreads could definitely make use of this because Vendreads already suck. So they can use more. The Ritual Bookstones. Also, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, except for ritual spells instead of ritual monsters, unlike the pen. The book. Okay, what are you? Extra toll. Continuous trap card. Each player must send 1 card from hand to graveyard in order to declare attack. This card actually might legit be interesting. This is probably the thing that I'm most interested in from this whole set because let's say that I'm playing True Draco, right? I set this bullshit up on you going first. Now, in order for you to be able to get over my masterpiece, you're going to have to keep getting rid of... Not my masterpiece, my Dynamite Knight, or Dynamite Fire, whatever you prefer to call them. You're going to have to discard cards in order to be able to gain significant advantage over me. And it's a continuous trap, which means it fits into the Draco engine right then and there. It can actually be a really interesting card if they make more floodgates. It's in this pack. And it is a common, and I can predict it to be a common in the TCG, so I may actually have applications with this card. And it's going to be cheap, so I'll probably pick up a playset. I'll probably be able to get a playset for $1 or $2 by the time we actually legit get this. Who knows? But anyways, let's go back to the top. Yeah, the GK support. Again, the only thing that I really am impressed with is the trap card, continuous trap card Sanctuary or Necro Valley. Only really thing I have to be impressed with in this whole thing. Unless it's some whiz kid comes out and makes a 2-card or 1-card Castle Stromberg FTK. Hey, with GKs like most people do, or with crazy combos with decks all the time, there is no recognition that I have for really anything else of the new support. I mean, this card had potential, but once you had to normal summon the monster by force, that's when it killed it for me. Now, if this was a mistranslation, and it says you can normal summon 1 GK monster from your hand, if that was a mistranslation, then this card will actually be really good, because now you have 9 ways to get to Necro Valley. This, Commandant, and the 3 copies of Necro Valley themselves. And you could play a copy of Terraforming or 2 if you really wanted to. I doubt you would need it at that point, but hey, the option's still there. I've seen people play a copy of Terraforming or 2 back in 2016, and they were able to top with the deck because the extra terraforming gave them the consistency they needed. And again, you have to keep in mind when you're playing GKs, it it's a demise deck, like basically every other stun deck in the game. The only two stun decks that aren't basically a demise, the only two stun decks that actually have a competing chance that actually aren't a demise deck is Altergeist and Herald of Perfection. Those are the only two decks that aren't a demise deck that actually have competing chances. True Draco, you have, even though it's a demise deck, that deck is in a category of its own. It's better than any stun deck in the game. Best deck in the world for me. Best stun deck in the game, non-arguably. If you want to argue with me, go ahead. I'm gonna argue you back. I'm gonna successfully win the argument as I've always done. Best stun deck in the game's history, non-debatably. Doesn't even special summon, makes it even more OP. We had Vanity's Emptiness when the deck first came out. The deck would have been even more retarded than what it actually was when it actually came here, because we would have Vanity's Emptiness in the Macrocosmos combo with that deck. But back on topic, just like old school stun, just like Fossil Dino stun, just like Barrier Statue stun, just like Chain Burn demise, you're playing another plane demise, just like Clifford stun. You're playing a standardized demise deck that literally needs card demise for its survival. Without card demise, you cannot survive. With a lot of these new things, they don't want you to play card demise in the deck. They want you to innovate the deck and be more creative with it and not rely on the floodgates, but rely on the actual engine of the deck. That means that should be implying that they're intending to go more graveyard oriented with decks. When you see them making new Gravekeeper support, then that should tell you that they're planning to build decks that are more graveyard oriented, which should give you a little hint incentive on which tech cards that you may want to buy ahead of time. Like, for example, if I'm playing stun and I'm currently main decking two or three Fossil Dyna, 3 Ryo, and 3 Inspector Board. The Inspector Board ain't leaving. I already know that. Ryo may leave depending on the format. Fossil Dyna may leave depending on the format. Like, if we go back to a True Draco format, the Fossil Dyna has to go in the side deck. But now that me knowing that they're trying to go more graveyard oriented, I can shift cards like Macrocosmos, Dimensional Fissure, and even 2 copies of Banisher of the Radiance into the main deck. Easy. Knowing that they're planning on taking the game more graveyard reliant. And making it so that things are going to require graveyards much more often in order to have more of a competitive concept in the game. Take a look at the BA list that topped. That deck is graveyard reliant. Take a look at the new danger cards. They're all graveyard oriented. I mean, aside from Trickster Sky Striker and True Draco, and Altergeist, and a Pendulum Magician, I say everything else is graveyard reliant, right? Yes? Yes, of course I'm right. I know what the fuck I'm doing in this game. Or do I? No one knows. Pendulum Magician doesn't really need... Well, as a matter of fact, if you play cards like Banisher of the Radiance, that actually fucks Pendulum Magician because of the rules where Dimensional Fissure will actually banish the monster, since they would technically go to the graveyard, then the extra deck. Same reason on how Dimensional Fissure can still banish the monster when it would go to the graveyard even though Necro Valley is on field. Same logic applies to that, so that actually takes Pendulum Magician off the list. True Draco, they don't really need the graveyard. Heard they can and even if you were to put a Banisher of the Radiance or something like that up against them, they literally just pop it anyways. Or just floodgate it out, so it doesn't even hurt True Draco. Sky Strikers can play around it because they have lots of tech cards that allow them to pop cards. And what was the other deck in my argument? I think that's just about it. I mean ABC needs the graveyard. Dinosaurs need the graveyard. Paleozoic needs the graveyard for their traps in order to be able to have their trap effects float in the graveyard, or in order to have rodent token you make use in the graveyard, or in order to actually have totally awesome or swap rod go off. So this can indicate something for you old school stun players in the future. You need to take a look at which decks they're giving legacy support to so you can give an idea on which direction that they're trying to take the game. I hope this proves to be a useful lesson to you guys, because now you can take a look at legacy support, where the legacy support is actually good or garbage, actually give you an idea of where they're painting the game towards. They want to go back to a graveyard format. And if you know what you're doing and know how to predict which tech cards you need ahead of time, you may be able to save your money in picking up high rarity playsets of cards you need ahead of time. Like, for example, if you're playing stun, you may need to prepare yourself a playset of those banishers. If you're planning on playing competitively, you may need to prepare that playset of different dimension ground or Imperial Iron Wall. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You might need to prepare these things, because now the game's going to be taken in a graveyard direction again. So, in conclusion, I hope you guys learned from this. Take it with a grain of salt, even though this spell card is probably going to be the greatest disappointment in the set. And have a good night, guys, and peace.